The comeback nobody saw coming. Verstappen's 69-point mountain. Can a driver really overcome a 69-point deficit with just races remaining in the season? What happens when a four-time world champion suddenly finds the weapon he's been missing? And could McLaren's biggest threat actually come from within their own garage? The answers to these questions might just rewrite everything we thought we knew about the 2025 championship battle. Because right now, something extraordinary is unfolding in Formula One. Max Verstappen and Red Bull have won back-to-back races at Monza and Baku, two circuits that couldn't be more different from each other. And according to Red Bull's team principal, that's exactly what has McLaren worried. Just a few weeks ago, this championship looked finished. Oscar Piastri held a commanding 69-point lead. Lando Norris was his only real challenger, and Red Bull appeared to be spiraling into irrelevance. The team was stuck in internal power struggles, their car was unpredictable, and Verstappen's title defense seemed all but over. Then everything changed. New leadership under a technically skilled team principal brought fresh direction. A new floor appeared in Monza, a new front wing debuted in Baku, and suddenly, the RB21 that had been struggling for months was back at the front of the grid, dominant on two completely different types of circuits. The Monza victory was impressive, but it came at a high-speed, low-downforce track where Red Bull has historically been strong. Baku, though, that's a different story. As the team principal explained, Baku features only slow-speed corners and very low downforce, a completely different equation compared to Monza. The fact that Red Bull dominated both circuits suggests something significant. The upgrades are actually working. But here's where the real drama begins. Because the next race is Singapore, and Singapore has never been kind to Red Bull. Even in 2023, when they won 19 out of 22 races in one of the most dominant seasons in F1 history, Marina Bay was the one circuit where they failed to win. It's a maximum downforce track in extreme heat, and Red Bull has struggled with both conditions this season. The team principal was candid about the challenge ahead, stating that they've been struggling quite a lot in Budapest, another high downforce circuit, and that Singapore is a much hotter track. He acknowledged their sensitivity to heat, though he noted almost the whole field shares this issue. Yet despite these concerns, there's genuine belief within Red Bull that they can fight for the win in Singapore. And if they can be dominant on a high downforce circuit for the first time in quite a while, then McLaren really does have every right to be afraid. But here's what makes this championship fight truly fascinating. Because while Red Bull is finding form, McLaren is facing a challenge they've never dealt with before this season. For months, both Norris and Piastri have been fighting for race wins without the pressure of a charging Verstappen behind them. Now, the four-time world champion is back in the mix, and the mathematics of the championship suddenly favor chaos. Think about the point structure. The race winner gets 7 points more than second place, but second place only gets 3 points more than third. This creates a brutal dilemma for McLaren's drivers. If Norris finishes second while Piastri takes third, he only gains 3 points, 18-15 per race. At that rate, closing a 69-point gap would take 23 races. The season doesn't have 23 races left. For Norris to have any real chance at the championship, he needs to be winning races, not just finishing ahead of his teammate. And that means the intra-team battle at McLaren is about to get significantly more intense. Zach Brown, McLaren's CEO, is clearly aware of the danger. He stated that you've got to pay attention to Max, emphasizing that while the Constructors' Championship is looking very good for McLaren, they need to keep doing what they're doing. His mention of wrapping things up suggests the team knows time is running out to secure both titles. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, was even more direct. When asked if Verstappen could haul himself back into championship contention, Stella responded with a firm yes, adding that it should be quoted in capitals. He acknowledged that Verstappen is a four-time world champion in a fast car, and that there are races ahead where McLaren may not enjoy any advantage from a competitiveness point of view. So, what gives Verstappen the edge in this fight? Experience under pressure. The Dutchman has been in championship battles that went down to the final race in 2021 and faced intense pressure throughout 2024. Neither Norris nor Piastri has experienced anything close to that level of title fight intensity. And according to the analysis of the situation, that psychological advantage could prove decisive. Verstappen himself is approaching Singapore with measured optimism. He explained that if the car is nice to drive, the physical challenge becomes manageable. But if it's shocking to drive, keeping it in a straight line becomes really hard. He acknowledged the heat and the need to prepare for sweating a lot. But his tone suggests confidence that the recent upgrades have transformed the RB21 into a car he can work with. After his recent victory at the 24-hour Nürburgring, Verstappen is now paying all his attention to the Singaporean Grand Prix. His goal is simple and strategic: 6 points more than Norris and 10 points more than Piastri. Anything beyond that is a bonus. It's a step-by-step approach designed to apply maximum pressure while keeping expectations realistic. And then there's the factor nobody wants to talk about, but everyone is thinking about: the possibility of a McLaren collision. It happened to Mercedes in 2016 when Rosberg and Hamilton were fighting for the title. It happened this year in Canada between Norris and Piastri. When two teammates are fighting for every position with championship implications, the risk of contact increases dramatically. If Verstappen is leading races while the two McLarens are fighting for second and third behind him, the pressure on both drivers intensifies. Norris needs to beat Piastri by larger margins. Piastri needs to protect his championship lead. One moment of miscalculation, one late braking attempt that doesn't quite work, and the entire championship could swing in Verstappen's favor. The Red Bull team principal made it clear that they believe they might have unlocked performance, and he wouldn't be surprised if Red Bull continues their winning streak. The fact that a technically knowledgeable leader who actually listens to his drivers has taken charge has completely transformed the team's trajectory. What happens next could define not just the 2025 season, but Verstappen's legacy. If he manages to overcome a 69-point deficit with just races remaining, it would be the greatest championship comeback in modern Formula One history. It would cement his status as one of the greatest drivers to ever participate in the sport, but it requires everything to align. Red Bull maintaining their performance, Singapore confirming their upgrades work on all circuit types, and McLaren's drivers making mistakes under pressure. The evidence suggests this championship is far from over. Singapore will provide answers. If Red Bull can be competitive at Marina Bay, a circuit that has historically been their weakness, then every remaining race becomes a genuine battle. If they struggle, Piastri's championship lead might prove insurmountable after all. But one thing is clear: the momentum has shifted. The team that looked broken just weeks ago is now the one everyone is talking about. The driver who seemed out of the title fight is now the one striking fear into his rivals. And the championship that appeared decided is suddenly the most compelling story in motorsport. So, can Verstappen complete the comeback? Will McLaren's drivers crack under the pressure of racing each other while defending against a charging champion? And can Red Bull's new technical direction sustain this performance across the remaining circuits? The answers are coming. Singapore will tell us everything we need to know.